Mind you, the first dance is going on and the sparklers come on. Normal, no problem.
No problem.
And maybe 5 or 10 seconds into the sparklers being on, all you see is the flowers right above just catch on fire.
Catch fire.
Right? It's not in one place.
It's not spreading.
Yeah.
It all continues on from those flowers.
Not in one place. This shit spread proper, 3 or 4 different parts of the flower decor was on fire. Mind you, the couple still don't know that.
And we see it. I'm looking at Manav. Manav's looking at me, and we're like, what the fuck is going on?
Hey guys, welcome to the Cameramen show. My name is Manav.
And I'm Kartik.
And in this podcast, we talk all things weddings, cameras, and business.
So we have a funny story to tell people. It's weird when I can say that and look at you and start laughing because we know how fucked up it is.
Exactly what this is.
It's a bit messed up. I don't know. It's a bit weird. And we were at a reception last weekend and, we were shooting with the same client. We get to the point of the first dance. And the pyrotectonic guy sets up the fire sparklers. He sets it up in the formation and whatnot. And then the couples do their first dance. Everyone's really serious. And it's like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. It's so amazing. Midway through the climax, that's what it is. The climax of the first dance. Because, that's when the fireworks come up. The fire sparklers end up lighting up the flower decor that was right above it.
Above the dance floor.
Stops the first performance.
Mind you, this dance floor has, just for context, has flower decor all around it at the top. You know how they hang stuff at the top of the dance floor?
Yep.
Yeah. So imagine you're on the dance floor and when you look up, all you see is just flowers, right? There's a proper decor. They've decked it out. They spent a lot of money on this, right? And for some reason, they didn't realize, hey, if we set off sparklers right under this decor, will this catch on fire or will this be all right? So mind you, I'm standing in the middle because I'm shooting video, Kartik's doing photos, and I'm literally all right, the first dance is going, and mind you, this is right in the middle of the first dance now because the sparklers come on.
Sparklers come up in the middle when they're just doing a lift or some shit.
Either when they pick them up or when there's a dip or whatever, right? So mind you, the first dance is going on and the sparklers come on. Normal, no problem.
No problem.
And maybe 5 or 10 seconds into the sparklers being on, all you see is the flowers right above just catch on fire.
Catch fire.
Right? It's not in one place.
It's not spreading. Yeah. It all continues on from those flowers.
Not in one place. This shit spread proper, 3 or 4 different parts of the flower decor was on fire. Mind you, the couple still don't know. And we see it. I'm looking at Manav. Manav's looking at me, and we're like, "What the fuck is going on?" Yeah. So mind you, the couple they're still doing the first dance.
They're still doing it. Yeah, they're madly in love doing it and shit.
And imagine this: the couple still doing the first dance, right? A little murmur just starts around the room, right?
And because you can tell people are looking at each other as well.
People are talking about it, and you see the room level rise, even though there's a song going on, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And all you see is an uncle just come out of nowhere from the side with a jug of Coke.
Of all things.
Jug of Coke.
Of all things.
Literally just picked up a jug of Coke on the table, and all you see is the couple's what the fuck is going on?
He's interrupting the dance.
First dance.
He doesn't give a fuck because he's like, I've got to rise to the occasion. He's
I gotta save these people.
I'm a fucking fireman today. Let's freaking go.
Out of everything, jug of Coke just comes to the middle of the dance floor, just chucks it up towards the flowers, right? Just chucks the whole jug. And after this happens, obviously the couple realizes the fire. They move out.
They stop abruptly. They're like, oh, this is really awkward. The song's still going. The DJ's caught on. Yeah. Guests are looking around and it's really awkward because now it's very evident something's going on.
And so now finally the DJ stopped the song, right? It's quite loud, there's no music going on. Now one uncle's come in and he's chucked a jug of Coke, and now all you see is 5 or 6 uncles from other tables just coming out of nowhere and just chucking jugs of Coke.
Shit. Yeah. Mind you, this behavior goes on for a good 5-10 minutes, right? Yeah. It's the spray is spreading, the staff don't know what the F to do.
Yeah.
And we're in a room filled with brown people. And it takes the one white guy with a bit of common sense to go, let me get a fire extinguisher. And then he walks up And he solves the problem in 5 seconds.
In 5
Everyone
seconds.
starts applauding the guy.
Yeah.
Because they're like, yeah, that's genius. Well done.
Literally 5 seconds of job. Like these uncles wasted like maybe 10 jugs of coke.
Just chugging coke and shit.
And like maybe like 5% of that coke would actually go on the fire. All of it just went all over the dance floor, right?
Like, would you not think twice to go fire equals fire extinguisher? Maybe let's just get that. But no. Every Indian uncle had the same idea.
Uncles know better.
Let's get coke and just throw it and chug it out.
I wonder why there was like not even a jug of water. It was just all coke.
Maybe they're like, oh, the coke was closer or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's weird.
And by the way, now the whole dance floor has coke all
drenched
over
with
it.
coke.
It's drenched
with coke. The place smells like smoke because it's got like the burnt flowery smell.
Yeah.
And the couple are just awkwardly standing there, just looking up at the top, smiling and laughing. Yeah. I'm looking at Manav. Manav's looking at me. Our shooters are like, what the fuck's going on? Yeah. DJ's stopped playing the music. And we're just now trying to get this fire out until that one white guy saves the day. Yeah. Right, kudos to that person.
Yeah. And now, obviously, we're going to tell you why we told this story and where this is leading, right? But now the couple has to do the first dance all over again, right?
All over again.
The bride's not happy. She's like annoyed, pissed. She's like, oh, you know, what the fuck? Well, I mean, there's only so much you can do, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But now it took them like maybe 15, 20 minutes just to like wipe the dance floor.
And then like bring everyone back their attention.
Wipe the dance floor. Right? They had like 2, 3, 4 cleaners, whatever, wiping the dance floor. Mind you, now the couple's got to go back in and start their first dance again.
It's so anticlimactic because you're already seen half of it. We know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So the couple's got to go and start their first dance again. And mind you, they got to do the first dance now without sparklers. Because the sparklers are already done.
It's already done.
Sparklers are already done.
Yeah, it's really
and they're not going to re-put, like, read the whole thing.
No. But the purpose behind this story is because there are some things over the last 8 to 10 years collectively between the two of us that we're like, okay, like these are some things you shouldn't do. And having,
or should do.
And having hot sparklers instead of cold sparklers is one of them.
So today's episode is basically the things you should and shouldn't do at your wedding reception.
Let's just kick straight off.
Yeah. We'll go straight in. And the first one is, how many times have we experienced this as photographers? Please don't be late. Please don't be late to your wedding reception pre-shoot. We normally do like a pre-reception shoot.
I think it's quite common for most people. Like they'll just have a little mini shoot with just the couple, and then maybe your immediate sort of bridal party, if that.
And obviously, like the photographers that are listening to this, or couples that are listening to this that are not of the the Southeast Asian background, where they just have wedding and reception on the same day. This doesn't really apply so much to them because you're already there, right, at the venue, and you're just going after your ceremony to a reception. This is more for like people that have their receptions on a separate day to the wedding,
very common for Southeast Asians.
Which is very common for Southeast Asian weddings, right?
Yep.
The amount of times we've rocked up at a reception, all right, and the couples, so for example, like the reception is starting at 6 o'clock. The couple was supposed to meet at 4 o'clock, right?
For the photo shoot?
For the photo shoot. For like 4 to 5 or 4 to 5:30.
Yep.
Literally just sitting there for half an hour to 45 minutes because the couple's running late.
We talked about our thoughts and feelings. It was nice. I didn't mind our time together.
But this happens, and mind you, this is very common.
It's very common,
right?
It's very common.
It's common to a point where now when we drive to a wedding reception, right? Obviously, we're going to be there on time. So if a couple's told us we want to meet you at 4 o'clock,
we'll be there at 4 o'clock.
I normally try to get there like a little bit before, like 3:45, 3:45, whatever.
Yeah.
But while we're driving there, we almost have a thing now saying, what's the bet that they're going to be half an hour late?
Yeah.
Right?
We always say this. And then we're like, we always, in hindsight, we regret it because we're like, bro, we could have got on coffee. We got in there at like, 3:50 or whatever it is. And we get a text message literally on the dot of 4
on the
saying,
dot.
I'm running half an hour late.
Half an hour late or 4. I've had like an hour late.
Oh, you had an hour late. See, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
That's frustrating because it takes our time for their photo shoot. It rushes everything. It doesn't set a good tone for the rest of the night as well because you're flustered and stuff.
Yeah.
And also you miss out on those opportunities to get those moments together before the storm.
And the thing is, like, we obviously have like a limited time where you can get good shots because the light is really nice.
Correct. Like sunset stuff.
Now, for example, 4 till like 5:30. Like if the reception is starting at 6, you want to do your shoot from like 4 till 5:30, for example. Like sunset setting these days around like 5:15 p.m.
Yeah, correct.
You get the beautiful pre-sunset and going into the golden hour, right? You get like 6 shots for that.
Sick.
And now if you're already an hour late, first of all, not only the light is going to be
it's going to be dull.
It's going to be dull because you've already missed like first hour of the shoot. Now you have a half an hour to do where the light is nice outside. Secondly, now you got to rush through this whole shoot where you could potentially miss shots that you wanted, or as a photographer, you could just be overwhelmed because you're like,
now, bro, I hate it.
Yeah.
I passionately hate it when you're like, hey, 5 minutes. I'm like, it reminds me of like, the, what is it, MasterChef? And they go, oh, you have half an hour to cook an amazing meal. And bruh, it's game on.
Yeah.
And you can't do everything you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Photography, same thing. Like,
and then you have to prioritize a certain shots that you want, certain shots you don't want, and you're always thinking in your head, oh shit, have I got everything? Have I got what I wanted?
Like, do I need enough for what the couple are requiring? Like, and that sometimes couples go, oh, hey, do you have any more photos?
Yeah.
We're like, well, no, we don't fucking have more photos because you didn't rock up on time. Fucking triggered right now.
Calm down.
Sorry.
But having said that, most of the time couples are understandable, and they are self-aware that if you're only going to do a half an hour photo shoot, right, then only a certain number of photos are going to be there. You can't expect to have an hour and a half worth of photo shoot, like an hour and a half worth of photos in a half an hour photo shoot, right? Yeah, which is fine. And
this way of structuring all of these tips, we're basing it on like 3 categories, right? Yeah. So there's like etiquette, there's technicals, and then there's speeches. And speeches deserve its own segment, which we'll get into at the very end. Because
first we're talking about
the technicals. Sorry, no, the etiquette. The etiquette.
Yeah. We're talking about etiquette.
The second point on the etiquette is, and I actually experienced this like a couple of weeks ago. Don't make boring people your MC.
Oh, okay.
Fuck me.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't come across this a lot, so I don't really have much to.
I'm telling you now. I've seen it unfortunately way too many times. Like, self-awareness, key here. If you're a bride and groom getting married, I get it. You're going, oh, my best friend.
Oh, actually, I'll take that back. I take that back.
My best friend should do my MCing because they're amazing. You're probably biased. But imagine your best friend's dry as fuck. And like, you're like, oh, bro, like just
you need to be able to stimulate the crowd. And like,
like just make them a bit more funny, right? Like, have a bit of banter, and not cringy, but like we'll get into that in a bit.
And
but
you can go the other way as well. Some people will be like overly,
and
like, it doesn't work out as well because then no one's laughing and everyone's like, what the fuck is going on?
Just balance that.
I feel like, as you said, you need to have self-awareness in regards to like if like what you're doing is working or not, right?
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Which comes back to your point. Like, don't have someone who's literally just going to be like, hello guys, welcome
to the reception of.
Hold on, why are you always gonna put accent on, bro?
Sorry.
Like we don't shoot like fucking people that have calm down, all right? We're
okay,
like,
true.
Yeah, but imagine just listening to, hello, welcome to the reception, guys. Today, yes, the first speech is like, like. Think about it. Like the Maritimes, actually. Now that I think about it,
as opposed to welcome to the reception, guys. Are we all excited to be here? Like, just see how different the energy is.
And also, I feel like another point that can kind of extend from here is you could potentially have a professional MC.
I didn't think about
to
that.
target this issue, right? Because I do actually we've shot receptions.
We've shot with one, I remember.
Yeah.
We've shot with one.
Yeah, we've shot with receptions with professional MCs that are like paid to be there, and that's their job, right?
Yeah,
and I feel like
it takes out the stress also for having someone who go, oh, this person's really close to me, but I also want them to enjoy. So it just takes that out. But also the con to that, and I'm just sort of challenging your entire argument is, although yes, you're a professional MC, it may not be a personal person.
Yeah, true.
Like you meant like an MC. The best MCs actually are the ones that kind of semi roast the couple at the same time. It's a good like laughs and giggles and shit, but they have good banter.
But then to have that type of an MC, they kind of need to be like a friend.
You kind of need, So like think about it.
Yeah.
Have it in the back of your mind, but just know your MC plays a very, very key and like important part to your reception. The other point that I've always wanted to make on this, and it happens more often than you may forget to realize, but couples, please, for the love of God, share your run sheet with your photographers and videographers.
If possible, like a week before at least.
Ideally. We get it.
Yeah.
You might be planning
It's a very busy time.
Like 8-9 months out in advance. You probably don't even have an itinerary. Then you go, shit, it's crunch time. It's only 2 weeks away. Then shit gets real because you're obviously that busy. But a week out, you should have somewhat of a run through. Like you should have something on paper at least to go, oh, we have a format and template.
Yeah.
Send it to your vendors.
Yeah.
That being your photographer, your videographer. If you have a wedding coordinator who actually should be doing this on your behalf and with you anyways, send it to these important people because that really makes a difference on how we execute and operate on the day.
And also for us to send to our second shooters and everything as well.
Yeah, correct.
So it's not just for us, but the run sheet helps the people that are shooting for us, like our team, know that what's actually happening on the night. Helps us a little bit in planning ahead.
Well, from like even for a video perspective, right? For you, I remember there's been so many times people just start and they don't even give you a chance to set up your tripods or to press record.
Yeah.
And you end up losing 30 seconds.
And that's a conversation I normally have with MCs on the night when I'm doing video is, hey, like I know there's going to be breaks during the reception, but every time you are about to go out of a break into another speech,
let us know.
You have to let us know that you're about to start, but even then they don't. Sometimes.
I think they just forget.
Yeah, they just forget it, which is fine. But like the most annoying part is like you just sitting because it's a break. Obviously, like I don't know about you, but I personally don't like filming people eating or whatever, right?
No way. Yuck. No.
Even though some couples want you to do that, which is very weird.
And
I
maybe
just
some
don't get
parents want it.
Yeah.
It's a very traditional thing.
Yeah, so when people are eating, for example, like, you know, during an entree break or whatever, usually that time is for us to just sit and just be like, hey, all right, let's plan ahead. Just make sure the batteries are changed and everything, right?
All the logistics of everything.
Just logistics, everything, But imagine like you're just sitting and then out of nowhere it's like, all right, so the next person up for speech is this. And as this happen, and you just see us just sprinting to our cameras.
Yeah, we're like, bruh.
So I feel like that it avoids that as well. If we already know what time the next speech is going to start,
correct,
then we're already ready before the speech starts.
The other etiquette that is super important that a lot of people may often just miss is we get it. There are some like crunch in spaces and numbers, and therefore particular venues would go, hey, by the way, like your vendor table is going to be outside around the corner if you just walk down 500 meters past the black cat where you can't hear anything.
Down, it's not that far.
I was trying to exaggerate the problem.
But a perfect example of this is like I think we probably shot together for this as well when we were right outside the ballroom.
Yeah.
Right? And we were sitting outside the ballroom.
Yeah.
And even though we are right outside the ballroom where the reception is happening, the doors are closed and you can't hear anything inside.
Can't hear anything.
Right?
Yep.
And it's fine. Like I don't mind sitting outside, but it's just like imagine something starts or something happens inside the ballroom out of nowhere. Then we literally not gonna know.
Yeah, and to our previous point where MCs just start, not only are we late to press record and start photographing, but now we got to go through. Oh, we have to like hear this shit, and sometimes people just start.
Yeah.
And we've not even been notified. Like I remember there was a speech where we're like, hey, just let us know before you're about to start. But unfortunately, mains were served, our table was outside, we also wanted to eat. And then they just decided impromptu, by the way, which wasn't on the actual run sheet, to go, oh, let's just start a speech now. And we weren't notified. And so now we're running to the back to our the main floor just to play catch up, and that's the hardest part. So just be mindful of where you're placing your vendors, photo and video, and even DJ, I guess, on the day of your reception.
Look, usually it's. I mean, we're not expecting to sit like right next to the bridal table or be like the center of attention or something. Like usually our table is kind of like in the corner, right? Which is like the last table in the like in one of the corners of the ballroom. But I feel like it definitely helps as long as we're inside the ballroom to know what's going on.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Speaking of tables, I think this is also a point to sort of worth like mentioning here, where some couples may go for logistics and for time. We want to do family photos and guests photos, because sometimes it happens in South Asian weddings with people during our breaks, and we'll just go table to table. I don't know about you, but what are your thoughts on that? Do you personally find it?
I hate doing table. You know why? Because like there's some random kid or some random uncles in the background or someone just random. It's just very messy, right? There's also ones where where they play a song and they do it quickly.
Yeah.
If you want to get that out of the way, if you want to get it out of the way, I don't mind. If you want to do that one way, there's a game that they play.
There's a game.
Okay, so the game is basically they play a song, right? And during that whole song finishes, you got to quickly run from table to table and every table's already got to know that the couple is coming to them.
Yeah.
They're already ready. And it takes like 5 minutes. I don't care. I personally don't care. I think that's fine. Totally fine.
It's very fun. It's sometimes very fun, because it's like, oh my god, gotta go by. And you, as a photographer, I'm kind of getting those in between moments. They're like the people looking at each other, like click.
Yeah, but what I don't like is when you have like a 1 hour break and now you want to just walk around tables, take photos, and like very slowly say hi to everyone. And obviously that's like you're there, it's your reception, and you want to say hi to people. Like that's fine, but like aesthetically the photos just turn out to be shit. Like you know what I mean? I'd rather have table by table come up to the front where the dance floor is. You paid for all this decor for your reception. It looks beautiful where you're sitting and the background is beautiful. The photos will look 10 times better because usually the lighting is much better when you're on the dance floor, right? So I much prefer them just coming to the middle and taking photos there rather than having to go table by table where you just have random stuff.
You know what's freaking awkward? Most tables are round tables as opposed to rectangular, I've just found overall. And when the round tables happen, it's very awkward because half of the group don't know which half you're going to photograph. So half of them don't know, am I getting up or am I sitting down? And then not only that, but sometimes for decorative purposes, they might have this weird fucking thing on the middle of the table, which just covers people. Now people have to do this. They're just moving around side to side.
I mean, mind you, it looks nice a lot of the times.
Don't get me wrong, that's great.
But for the logistical purposes, or like, just for efficiency and just for the look, it's just very weird.
Just be careful of that, because I get it. Like, what do we want to do here? You want to save time.
Like massive centerpieces, right?
Yeah. So just be careful. If you want to save time, just know that it's going to be very awkward with your family photos and extended photos, as opposed to going, hey, let's just get people to come to you. Yeah. And there's probably ways to do it, like, efficiently. So maybe you segregate it. You go the first quarter, second quarter throughout the night, whatever it is. And, there's probably ways to plan it out properly, but just be mindful for things like that when it comes to like tables and stuff.
Yep. Also, I don't know about you, but I have been to certain receptions where, when they have like the, where the people like waiting around just having drinks, like canapes and stuff, it's usually outside there's no shade under it. Like it's just open, right? And it has happened before where it just started raining, right? Yeah. But they won't let the guests inside the reception.
That's so messed up.
Mind you, there is a counter argument to this. First, I'll just explain what happened, and then we'll go into that. So, for example, like people are just standing outside. It started to rain, and they are not going to let people come inside the ballroom because they only open the ballroom at a certain time.
All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And people are standing outside in the rain, or if they have umbrellas, or if they don't have umbrellas, no one knows. They don't give a shit, right? It's your problem. Yeah. Now that's that's kind of slack to your guests, I would say, for reception. But the counter argument to this is couple could be inside taking photos, right?
True.
Where couple don't want to be seen by everyone else yet until the entry. True. That's one counterpoint.
True.
Second counterpoint is that maybe they could still be setting up inside.
True.
Right?
Well, then both of those counterpoints, I would argue, if we're really challenging this, why can't the couple photo shoot happen earlier, and why can't the setup happen earlier? Now, if that's the case of going, well, the couple photo shoot can't happen earlier because they were doing something before and then they couldn't physically be on premise, I guess
that's fine. Yeah.
And if the context is going, well, we couldn't set up earlier because there's another event happening before that, I also get it.
Yeah.
So naturally it is by context, but
mind you, this reception I'm talking about, the couple weren't having a photo shoot inside.
There's nothing inside. You see, this bothers me.
And it was already set up, but the venue is like, we're not going to open the doors until a certain time because that's when we allow the guests in. And people literally were just standing outside, just getting wet.
See, this is interesting because what I've also noticed is doors open 7:00. Then you have a jammed pack like schedule on your reception itinerary, and you leave less than 45 minutes because everything gets delayed for your dance floor. Do you see how it doesn't make sense?
Yeah, that happens a lot.
You could have started at 6, but no, from 6 to 7, something else was happening.
I've had dance floors starting at 11:15 at night, and you have to be out of the venue at 11:30.
Especially if you're in
15-minute dance floor, bro. Yeah. Imagine people came all the way to reception. What do people come to receptions to do? If you want to be like frank about it, to eat food and to dance.
Yep. Have fun, right? Of course.
Have fun.
See the couple.
But the two main thing is they want to have a good food and they want to have a great dance floor, enjoy with the couple.
Correct.
Now imagine like going on a dance floor for like 15 minutes.
It's so weird and I hate it.
And that happens because they do like a lot of couples plan like 20 things for the reception.
Yeah, so be smart about it. If you have 20 things that you absolutely have to have, which is another questionable thing in all of that, then do we really need to make our guests wait outside for that long? Yeah. Can we not just bring them in a little bit earlier? Because then that would just help everything so you're not rushing.
Would that go into the point also? I don't think we've written this down, but would this also go into the point that don't have like shit ton of speeches and dances during the reception?
Yeah, look, like this could be more of a, like, what do you really want from your reception sort of a question where
I know some people have to.
I've had couples who are like, look, we just freaking want to dance. Yeah. Our speech, like 1 minute.
I've had the receptions
no parent speech, no bridal party speech, just our speech, a couple of thank yous, then we just want to talk, mingle, have fun, and dance.
No, definitely. I've had those receptions where the dance floor starts at like 8:39 and it goes till midnight, right?
And I'm like,
it goes long.
That's long. Yeah. But it just depends on what you want. So, of course, there are people important to you that you really want to hear from. Like, if I get it, mum speech, dad speech, they're really important people to. Fair. That's fair. But then, like, just be smart about it. Space it out in a way where, okay, if you have a fair bit on, don't rush to the end. Bring it all forward. Like, try and be smart with your timings. And I think that's really, really key here when you like try and plan for a reception.
And the last one, I think that comes under etiquette, right? Is control drunk people. And
whatever do you mean? Manav?
Bro, whatever do you mean? I've been scarred for this option, right? Because this happened at my own wedding. Stop pretend like you don't know this stuff.
I just really wanted you to share this because I know how triggered you get.
Bro, I get triggered thinking about this. And this happened at my own reception.
Please do explain what happened.
Mind you, the reception is going on. It is what it is. Like, it's a jam-packed schedule. Not to the point where obviously like we have a lot of stuff going back to back, but it was like a lot. You know how generally a lot of people want to just come take photos with you. So we haven't really gotten time much to ourselves to eat. Even I didn't really. I told you this on an earlier
never
podcast.
Ate at your reception.
Never ate at my own reception because but basically everything's done now, and we are into the final speech, which is the bride and groom speech.
So your speech.
Yeah.
The time where you're basically thanking
Yeah.
everyone.
My wife's had her speech done, and now it's my turn to do the speech.
Did you put a lot of effort, just for context, into your speech? Like, were you excited to give this speech?
No, it was just top of the mind.
I'm thinking you're like, I'm very grateful. I get to thank a whole bunch of you. Didn't give a fuck.
And mind you, we're going to go into this, into the speeches part of this, which is
Into the last category.
Into the last category,
Yeah.
which is something I should have done.
A bit more into detail.
It's actually funny I'm giving this advice, but I haven't done it myself.
So what happened next?
Huh?
So what happened
Okay,
next?
so my speech is going on, and out of nowhere, someone Kanye'd my speech. Yeah.
Who was it?
It was an uncle, right? A drunk uncle just comes up and just interrupts me during my speech. And he just takes the mic off me, right? And for those of you who are like, what the fuck is going on? Why would you... Mind you, this is like a Southeast Asian wedding, right? So you have to be a little bit respectful to your elders, right?
It's not
Stuff
like you
that.
can go tell your uncles, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
like,
and mind you,
happen.
at that time, obviously I didn't know what this guy was going to do.
hard.
So I was like, fine. It's like, or maybe he wants to just say something
Maybe he
to
wants
us.
to praise you or something.
Maybe, whatever, right? This
yeah.
guy, bro, he was drunk off his face, this uncle. And he just interrupted my reception and said a bunch of shit, right? About... I don't know if I actually don't remember. It was quite a long time, but from the general gist of it was more about like, no one took care of me.
Because it's all about him on the wedding day, isn't it?
Mind you, this uncle came from like overseas, right? He was like, people didn't really take care of me that much. You have no one's asked and poured alcohol into my glass. Mind you, there's alcohol on the tables that you can pour yourself.
But this guy wanted it to be
He
served
wanted
to him.
it personal waiter or something.
He wanted fucking 24-hour service, bro.
Yeah. So this guy wanted like a personal waiter or someone who just follows him around, pouring alcohol into his glass or whatever, right?
Sounds about right.
And mind you, this is happening. My mates are just sitting across. They're just cracking up, right?
What was Rav, your wife? What was she doing?
No, she's speaking to me slowly, like in my ear, like, what the fuck is going on? And you know what? Like, and I'm like, I know you're pissed. Just keep smiling.
What do you do?
Right, I'm literally just rubbing her back, right? And I'm like, just keep smiling. I know this is annoying. It's okay. It happens. And now imagine she's smiling, but she's like, what the fuck is going on?
Have you ever bumped into that uncle since?
Yeah, but I'd rather not talk about it, bro.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's very
This is a scarring moment in my life.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Are you
I'm
alright?
I'm alright.
I just feel you just wanted to check in.
Yeah. But anyways, back to the point.
Back to the point.
So anyways, got interrupted, right? And which leads to a point. Control fucking drunk uncles and drunk people at your wedding, yeah?
Now, I'm going to caveat. You
Couple can't really do much.
You go into a reception thinking that surely everyone will be on their best behavior, and for the most part, as photographers, videographers, we can say that most people typically have been. But
there's always that one uncle.
There's always one.
There's always one. Yeah.
There's always one fucked up person that says the most oddest shit or embarrasses themselves publicly. Maybe they're drunk too much. Maybe they make a scene. Maybe someone's crying. Maybe someone's vomiting. Maybe DJ's passed out. That's a whole separate story. Like, there's always one. There's always something. Just brace yourself. I'm not saying anticipate it, but brace yourself that something could sort of happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, or to like mitigate this circumstance, like to...
If something happened, then who would be the next person to sort of take care of that situation?
Yeah, you need to have like one person who's going to be like, all right, if some weird shit happens, you got to come up.
Yeah,
you got to fucking
like,
drag that uncle off or do whatever. Like, it is what it is. Or just like literally just call him out or whatever, right?
Like, hey, shit the fuck down. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the technicals. Now, the technicals are really important that I think if couples are looking at it going, oh, we've got everything down pat, I bet you probably do. But the technicals come in from a photography, videography standpoint that maybe you actually don't. Because a lot of people plan a reception for the couple, and you should because it's all about the couple. But keep in mind that like your venue will also impact your light, your lighting conditions, your venue will also impact the way your photos will look. Now, a lot of the time, we've gone into receptions and we're typically pretty happy. And we're like, oh, this is a good venue. We've shot here before. And like, super excited because it looks bougie AF and like, everything's great. But there are some venues, and I know you feel the same way about this, where we'll walk inside and Manav and I will just be so upset. And we'll just be like, for fuck's sake, this is so annoying.
Yeah.
And the point that I'm trying to make here that we passionately hate, and most photographers and videographers passionately hate, are dark ceilings. Now, you're probably as a couple going, oh, wait, what? We've got a dark ceiling coming up. Oh, no.
Mind you, it's like we can still shoot there.
You can
so
still
it's
shoot
not
there.
like,
Yeah, you can still shoot there.
Like I take off-camera flashes with me when I'm doing,
And
you
your
can do
photographer-
certain flash setups in certain venues
Yeah,
that you still can get good photos.
Your photographer should also cater for this, have lighting gear. Videographer should have lighting gear, so they should do that.
But
and
a
that's
lot,
fine.
but the amount of photographers
Some
that don't,
some don't.
that don't.
Yep.
It's like, and then they'll just end up shooting whatever it is in dark
Correct,
ceiling, and you end up
correct.
just getting like shitty photos.
So just be mindful
Yeah.
that dark ceilings means, from a technical standpoint, light isn't easily able to be bounced off from the ceiling, which means you're not going to be perhaps well exposed for, or it'll be a different type of light. For instance,
so-
spotlight versus a bounce.
Yeah, so and mind you, the couples that are hearing this have no idea what the fuck Kartik just said. I'm just gonna put it into I'm gonna put it into very simple terms.
Layman's terms.
Usually when we shoot receptions, we have a flash on top of our camera. If you're a photographer, you're gonna bounce that flash. It's gonna be pointed up towards the ceiling, bounces from the ceiling, comes back, gives you a really nice flattering light everywhere. And because now the ceilings are black, that light's going up and it's literally not coming back.
It's absorbed.
It's just absorbed because it's black, right? Now, the best kind of ceilings that work for it is obviously just white.
Just white
ceilings, anything that's like kind of white shade,
dramas.
cream, whatever, right?
Yep.
And also how high the ceilings are is another thing I want to add in there as well.
Yeah. I mean, again,
even if you do end up going with the white ceilings, if you're going with a high ceiling, and this is more to photographers, have off-camera flashes with you, right? Your 8200s or whatever it is, this off-camera that is just going to give you a little bit of extra feel.
Yeah. Bouncing off that idea, I just thought of this now. And I've gone to receptions as well where it has been white ceilings, but they got some deco things going on there, and it's like yellow flowers everywhere, pink LED spotlights coming down, purple, flashlights, blue strobe lights, and it's weird. And it's weird because it seems like a party, but it photographs pretty shittily, if that is even a word. Like you're not getting even light because there's so much going on. And when we do bounce flash, you've got all these different colors on your skin, and just, I get it. It sounds technical, and it doesn't mean to be complicated than that, but just as a rule of thumb, if you want to avoid this entire drama, keep it simple. It's a motto that Manav and I live by, and just go for white. It's classic. It's timeless. Have a white ceiling place, a white venue. It's just nice. If you want to have dark things, you can have dark tiles. You can have dark tablecloth.
It's totally fine to go with a dark ceiling, a dark venue, right? But if you're doing that, just let your photographers know in advance.
I take that back.
Hey, there's going to be...
let them know.
And like... Bro, the amount of times I shoot in like dark ceilings and I just set up like off-camera flash or like soft boxes or whatever. Like it's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but you can still get good photos in dark ceilings. Totally fine. But I think a lot of couples that couples hire sometimes new photographers that don't have enough gear or whatever it is, right? And if you're going for a venue like that, then it's all we're trying to say is basically that it's harder to photograph a darker room.
Correct.
Not impossible.
Yeah.
It's just harder to photograph it. Yeah.
It's just harder.
So just to avoid this whole thing, best to go with like a white ceiling in your
Again,
reception.
not a be all and end all if you have a dark ceiling, but just communicate to your photographer. Yep. The other point that I think is also really worth mentioning here is sometimes couples have a vision for their reception. They maybe want the direct flash blurry photo shots. They might want certain moments captured or whatever. I think it's worth to communicate this to your photographers, like providing a shot list. And a shot list is just an idea or maybe a vision behind what you guys want to capture and create. For my more not type A brides, but brides who are very they're visionaries behind their reception, or grooms who prefer have a theme, they send me Pinterest boards and they go, oh, these are the styles of photos that we really like. And it makes
your job so much easier.
And I think not just even for your reception, for your wedding day, we just wanted to focus on reception because I think there was a few points that we collectively had between the two of us.
That were more like reception specific.
Reception specifically. Yeah. But providing a shot list to your photographer, videographers of things that you'd like just really go a long way. And it helps us to basically execute effectively, knowing that these are things our couples want, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
The other aspect that I think a lot of people should sort of bear in mind when it comes to planning a reception is to communicate with your photographers and videographers if you have moments in your reception. For instance, we're going to be dimming the lights for our entrance.
I think it's more to do with videographers, this one. Because if you're a photographer and using flash, dimmed light versus
Shouldn't
not
really-
dimmed light doesn't really
shouldn't
matter
really-
if you're using flash
maybe
anyway,
for video,
right?
or
For video,
things-
definitely. Like I'm assuming that if you're a videographer and you've been doing this for a while, you definitely have your own lighting set up. You take your good lighting with you. So it shouldn't really be a problem. But I know a lot of videographers that just don't take video lights with them, and they'll just shoot like. I mean, I get it, mate. You got an A7S III now, right? Which can practically see in the dark, but still just light your receptions in a way that it's just gonna make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. The other technicals I think I just thought of now. You know when we have the lectern, like where the MC is supposed to stand or speeches are supposed to stand. Sometimes they don't. So what people end up doing, they think they're like, like we're gonna move
this
around.
is a pet peeve of mine. I hate this.
Yeah, you hate this shit.
And this happens a lot. A lot. Like you'll just have people like that just come and stand in the middle of the dance floor. And then they just face the bridal table.
Yeah, they'll turn their back towards the cameras, and now the videographers. You guys have to just go all the way to the front.
We gotta go around, right? And as soon as we go around, and I start filming him, he just starts facing back this way. I mean, obviously, there's like normally I shoot receptions with like two videographers, myself and another guy. So normally you can like avoid this by have like multiple angles, whatever. But it's still so annoying. I mean, and the most annoying part is just when they just walk around a lot on the dance floor. Yeah. Because then you got to constantly like follow them the whole time, right?
I get from an MC perspective, if I can challenge that. MCs, they probably would want to walk around because their job is to get attention. And I feel like when I'm, have to orchestrate a room or, guide people, bro, I'm throwing my hands everywhere. I'm like walking around and everywhere.
No, I think it's okay if you do that as an MC, but just not the person who's doing a speech.
Okay. Yeah, I get you.
Right?
Yeah,
when you're doing a speech, the best way to just capture the speech is if you just get everyone that's doing a speech, just put them on a lectern. Right?
Or and just angle the lectern at a way where your back's not towards the couple. And they're not your back's not towards the cameras.
So you kind of look side
on.
The couple.
And so you can just move your head and look at the couple and then move your head and look back at the cameras.
Look, even if their back is towards the couple, as long as they stay facing that way and they're on a lectern, then at least I can go around and set up just permanently this way and I don't have to like follow them. Like the one camera is there. You're just going to get like a much nicer, cleaner video when you're doing that. It's more of a videography thing, I guess.
From the technical
For photographer, I think that's not really a problem when people walking around.
For other technicals, I think the other thing that comes to mind is like notifying your photographers, videographers of things that's going on. Bro, I remember I've had a reception and they forgot to put it. They didn't forget. They actively like didn't mention a flash mob on the run sheet.
A flash mob. Oh.
And we didn't know and no one cared to tell us either. And so I was just going about my day. All of a sudden music just goes really fast.
Listen guys, flash mob doesn't mean you don't tell your photographer. I get it, it's a flash mob that you don't want to tell anyone. It's a surprise, right? But tell your photographer there's a flash mob. At least we're ready to like capture it. Like we don't want to be the people who are like, wait, what the fuck is this going on?
Is this a drunk person dancing a solo or are these a choreographed routine? We don't know. It's frustrating because then we go, now we have to adjust our cameras. If a video, you got to do your static tripods and stuff. For photographers, we have to be ready because who knows how big this can get. Bro, I remember there were some flash mobs that had like 50 people. That's nearly a quarter of the entire room if it's a 200 guest like capacity. And I'm like, bro, I could have switched up my lens to a 16mm rather than 28-70. This is more for technicals, but I could have gone and be a bit more prepared and, communicated with my second photographer and going, hey, just FYI, I need you to do this because I'm going to do this because of this just happened. And if I didn't know about that, well, then fucking chaos, mate.
Yeah, true,
you know what I mean?
True.
Let's go to the most infamous category, which is speeches. What's funny? When I was like planning this out with Manav, I realized that we had like 5 points just for speeches. And I'm like, maybe we should segregate this into etiquette, technicals, and speeches. I'm sure there's probably a few other things in the...
I'm sure there's a lot of things you're missing, to be honest.
I'm sure there's a lot. And if there are points that you're like, I want you guys to know
or if there's something fucked up that's happened at your reception, I want you to comment on the YouTube video.
Comment on the video or email us in and let us know if there is a fucked up story from anything at a reception that could have been avoided.
We're planning on doing like a pod down the line where we're just gonna read our stories sent to us via the email. So if you have any messed up stories at your wedding,
we love messed up stories. We love it because we're like, this could have been avoidable, but it wasn't. So we dedicated us a little segment for just speeches. Why don't you go ahead and read out what the first dot point is?
Don't write your speech on the day of your wedding reception.
You would assume, just from basic fucking logic, that this one is just as like you would just know not to do that shit on the day. You know what I find?
But the amount of times I see it happening, it's quite a lot.
You know what I find? I think brides are really on top of this more than grooms. Because usually, I don't know if you can relate, it's usually always the grooms who do
I've seen brides.
Oh, you've seen brides
I've
do
seen
it as
brides
well?
writing sitting down on the, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
I
agree. I think
it's more grooms because I think a lot of grooms go either, oh, we'll wing it on the day, which I don't
like me,
recommend
pretty
that.
much. Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
I reckon most brides prepare, which is the smarter thing to do. Most grooms go, oh, I'll just do it on the day, just before. Don't do that because you're going to be running around. And so you're probably going to not have the best quality speech. You know, I know that's subjective as well, but you're probably just going to have things left to the last minute that you probably shouldn't have done, and in terms of like, you know, what to write in there. And, you know, it is a big day. It's your speech. You want to thank the right people. You want to say the right things. And also from a video perspective, you're most likely going to use that speech in the highlight reel, right?
Which actually takes me on to the next point, all right? Thank your other half and thank your bridal party in your speech at least. And just say a couple of nice things. I guess it's okay to have a speech which is like very like banter heavy, right? Or you're like trolling or you're like roasting someone. But say a couple of nice things, right? Because this happened at a reception that I shot. The groom forgot to thank the bride in his speech, right?
Bruh.
And here's the funniest part. He realized that he didn't do it, right? Halfway through a dance floor. And then they stopped the dance floor and he goes, oh, by the way, I just want to thank my bride.
Do you reckon the bride went up to him and be like, hey,
Yeah, where was my thank
where
you?
the fuck was my thank you? Go fuck yourself. You thanked everyone in the room but me. You fucking love me? No, you don't. Yeah, I think it's so funny how people just forget like this shit. Obviously, most people don't. Like most normal people don't.
I feel like bridal party, you should definitely thank us all, right?
Yeah,
Because
like it depends. I mean, some people also don't have official bridal parties.
Yeah,
Don't forget.
true,
Like
true.
when we talk of the term bridal party, we usually think of bridesmaids and groomsmen. Sometimes they don't have them, and they just have like your brother or your sister or something like that, or parents.
yeah.
But typically,
I feel like parents, most people end up thanking.
Yeah, you'd
like I
assume
don't
so.
think I've
Yeah,
ever
yeah,
seen
yeah,
a reception
yeah,
where they
yeah.
haven't thanked the parents.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the missing of this has happened like a couple of times. Either the bride or the groom forgot to say anything nice about the other person, or about the bridal party.
There was a story that I remember just recently, and oh my god! So basically, like Indian wedding for a week long, and there was tension. And what I meant by tension was that so this is weird. The bridesmaids weren't getting along with the bride, and it was proper cooked because I was just like,
is this did we shoot this together?
I don't think we shot this together.
Okay.
But basically, the bridesmaids weren't getting along with the brides, and I could notice it. And I'm a photographer, right? And I'm like, you know, if I can pick something up, then it's pretty evident. And so there's just tension throughout the week. Like the bride's also not treating these bridesmaids very nicely. She's being a bit of a bridezilla. Yeah, just a bit like, come on, man. Like just calm down a tiny bit. And look, that's fine. I get it. Like you're stressed out.
It's a stressful time, but it doesn't give you the right to like treat your bridal party like shit.
Specifically like shit.
Yeah.
And on the reception day, she didn't end up thanking the bridesmaids. And I was thinking it's going to come. It's going to come.
Damn.
And I'm just looking from my side peripheries. I'm like,
just looking at
because typically what I would do, and I think you're the same, is when people are thanking people in speeches, you're getting reaction of those thank yous, right? Because you know they go, oh my god, thank you, all of that shit, right?
Yeah.
And I could just see the bridesmaids were so pissed off. They were like,
they're just looking towards each other and shit. Yeah.
She didn't think like not saying it like that way, but like basically almost thinking it.
Yeah.
And it becomes so awkward, man. Like, just thank your freaking bridal party. Like, I don't have...
Mind you, this goes the other way as well. And this is a counter argument. If you're a bridal party or if you're like a maid of honor or whatever, be there and do shit.
Yeah,
right?
don't fuck
you're
around.
You're not gonna get like a free thank you just because you're in a bridal party. Help out your bride, help out your the bride and groom or whatever.
I remember there was a recent wedding that we shot together, and Manav and I had a conversation when we're like, hey, one of the bridesmaids just seemed out of it. And what I meant by that is like, I know exactly what you're thinking right now.
Yeah.
Because we looked at this person and gone, either they've got a resting bitch face or they just don't want to be there.
They don't want to be there. Yeah.
And it could, and look, I can give leniency to an extent. Bro, when I'm like serious, I got a resting bitch face too. But like this person actively didn't do shit. I didn't see this person go out of their way to help.
Yeah.
They were very like just on the side.
They just want to they're there because they've been asked, but they don't really want to be there.
Like, you can tell. You could genuinely tell.
Like for example, during the location shoot when we were doing the photos and videos, right, for the post wedding or whatever, like this person was just kind of just staring into the distance.
Yeah,
well,
it's
like I'm trying to direct them. I'm like, hey guys, so you got to do this, do that, whatever. Everyone else is doing it other than this one person. He was just like literally just staring into abyss. Now, one thing could be maybe she's on something.
Like she's on cocaine, just not that shit before she gets spaced out.
Yeah.
Look, fine, whatever. But at the end of the day, you would assume that you still want to be happy for the person.
Yeah.
You want to show that. You want to show your support. So you're a bridesmaids or a groomsman or something like that. Just play the part. Do your job. Be supportive. Be happy. And be like thankful that you got picked also to be a bridesmaids and groomsman. But back to speeches though. So yeah, if you're a bride and groom, thank your bridal party. Thank your partner, damn straight. And if you're, I suppose, a bridal party, make sure you kind of just help out on the day to earn that thanks. But on the note of speeches, how about we try and keep that shit 5 minutes?
Even 10 minutes, whatever.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Like, doesn't have to be super long.
What
but
the fuck is 45 minutes for a speech?
Oh, damn.
Bruh, legit, I was like, it got to a point where I was at a reception.
You had a 40.
Yeah, I got to a reception.
Yeah.
A couple's very nice, by the way, so yeah. Good on you. Couple's so sweet and they're super, but it's because they're so sweet. They're so like filled with gratitude that they want to express that. By the way, I'm all for gratitude. Like express that shit, man. Like freaking, you got something nice to say it. But make sure you couple that with self-awareness. And what I mean by that,
45 minutes.
they started the speech. They started their speech at 8 o'clock on the dot and they didn't finish until 8:45. And it got to a point where, because I'm walking around getting reactions, bro, this is so bad. I look at the bridal table and one of the groomsmen is like doing this. He's like nodding off. He's nodding off. His hands on his head.
Yeah.
And his head's on his hand. His elbow's just like supporting his head. And he's doing one of those where he's like,
knocked out.
Just drop out. And then you come back in. And then you drop out, come back in.
Yeah.
And it's awkward AF because all the other groomsmen were noticing and started laughing. And then people started picking it up on attention. It's really bad, man.
Yeah.
It's messed up. And I think also your crowd just like, they love you, but they don't care. Like, they don't want to sit through a 45-minute speech. So just like, just cut that shit out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just be a bit
10, 15-minute speeches are very common. Even up to 15 minutes, whatever.
Correct.
But 45 is just next level.
Bro, I don't know. It was a bit weird.
Yeah.
It was proper weird.
Yeah. And this also goes back to the earlier point of, when dance floors don't start on time or whatever, it's because of stuff like this as well. Like if your speech is 45 minutes, then that's literally cutting out of the dance floor time.
Yeah, correct. So
by the way, this has happened to me as well. And the dance floor, the one, I think the couple I did, the speech was very similar, like 45, 50 minutes. And because of that, the dance floor only started, so the dance floor only happened for half an hour. As way, if they finished earlier, it would have been like an hour dance floor.
And who says, oh, can you see how fun that half an hour dance floor? No one likes that shit. People want to dance for hours because they're getting drunk, they want to have fun, whatever it is. Like, I get it, but just be mindful of how you say these things because it does make an impact in terms of keeping your audience entertained.
What was the main reason why the speech was so long?
They're just very grateful.
As in, were they thanking like everyone?
Bro, if I had a cat, that cat would probably be thanked as well. Like people that I'm like, I get it. There are certain numbers of thanks. We hear thanking your vendors a few times, and that's very lovely.
Yeah. Look, the usual ones that you always hear is like immediate friends and family,
like your parents,
maybe
siblings.
your parents, siblings, your bridal party, each other, and then potentially vendors. Some people do vendors, right? Like that's very common. Yeah. Or if there's like a specific auntie or uncles that has like helped out a lot during a wedding, or whatever, right?
Yeah, I get it. But do you really need to thank the person you grew up with that only shared maybe a year or two of your childhood, who gave you a value that you felt like your entire audience needs to know? Look, I mean, I'd say no, but it's purely contextual.
Yeah. And by the way, you do you. I mean, we're only giving tips here. We're not really saying
take
like...
Take with a pinch of salt. Like, we're not professionals. We don't do this shit for a full-time living or anything. But do think about these things when it comes to like, speeches and sort of like, making it efficient. The other point that I think is also really worth mentioning here is...
Which also relates to speeches?
Yeah, which I think is worth pointing out, that a lot of people try and be efficient, and that's fine. But sometimes,
I know where this is going.
Sometimes they do their speeches during main courses.
I hate this as if I'm doing a video for something. I hate this. You know why? Because while the speech is going on, all you hear in the background is like ting, 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 ting. Like all the cutlery noises in the back while people are eating.
It's the worst.
Yeah, and this happens when people plan speeches during entree.
Yeah.
or a mains course,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And everyone's just, obviously, like, people are hungry.
I get
right?
it. I get
no
it.
one's going to stop for a speech
Oh,
if
of
you're being
course.
realistic,
Yeah, no one,
right?
no
No
one,
one's going
no
to
one,
stop,
no
right? Well, and so you got speeches going on, and all you hear is just the cutlery noises, the whole room noise level just raises, and that only makes the couple feel like no one's listening to them.
Yes,
right?
I don't know how I feel about this fully, because I get what you're saying. And as a photographer, I even relate to what you're saying. Like, it makes sense to me, and I hate that shit. I understand that there's a lot happening on the floor, like in terms of the itinerary for the night. I get it. And in order to maximize, they don't want to have an hour break for dinner, then come back, then fit everything in. So they go, let's just kill two birds with one stone. That's probably why they do it. But you need to ask yourself two things. What does my night look like? And actually what matters to me? Because if my night looks like I've got too much on, then what matters to me might be like secondary to that. What I mean by that is going, okay, we've got a lot on that we can't like not avoid. But if I'm going to put my bridal speech, like my speech as a bride and groom, in the middle of dinner, and everyone's distracted and no one's paying attention, I hate that. Like, pick and choose your moments.
Yeah.
But can you put, if you absolutely had to have speeches during dinner, and your dinner time is where maybe your mum and dad say things,
This is a story came to my mind.
then maybe it might not be as bad. What's your story?
I got a story that comes to my mind, and this is regarding speeches as well,
Yeah.
right? And this is probably the last tip I can give couples before we wrap this up is vet your speeches, right?
No.
Like, and obviously, like, not all speeches. Like, if it's like your best man or whatever, and if you feel like you're confident in them speaking, that's fine, right? But bro, I shot a reception once, and I think it's one of the siblings of the bride or the groom, I'm not sure. They did a speech. Mind you, this sibling is young.
Oh no! As soon as you say young, in my mind, you're not
A teenager.
You're a teenager.
A teenager,
Yeah.
who's probably never spoken publicly before,
Oh,
right?
fuck.
Right, and mind you, this is not like
Nah.
they can't speak.
Oh,
She was
no.
fine when it comes to speaking, but the kind of shit she said in the speech, it was super awkward.
Like what?
And I'm gonna give you an example of this. The whole speech, or maybe at least the 80% of the speech, was about how the groom takes dumps.
What?
Dead serious.
What?
It was literally about how the groom takes dumps, how they're really stinky, all right? How he doesn't come out of the toilet for a long time. He just sits in the toilet and shit.
Are you serious?
Bro, I'm dead serious. And like, I'm standing there,
Yeah.
and everyone is just like staring at each other like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, all the guests, let alone guests, us as photographers, videographers, I was staring at the rest of the team. I'm like, what is happening? Like, and mind you, this is not like a short speech. And the way this speech started out was like a joke, right? So everyone laughed when she said, oh, he takes whatever stinky
But she kept it
dumps.
going.
Bro, she kept this shit going for like 8 to 10 minutes, to a point where everyone was like, is she going to say anything else? Or is this whole speech just based on like the amount of shit this guy drops in the toilet, or he doesn't come out of the toilet? Like, I'm like, what?
That reminds me of a time
Yeah.
where. So that was who? What? That was the bride's sister.
It was either bride, the groom's sister, I think, but it was like, obviously she was quite young,
Yeah.
right?
I do you one better.
Yeah.
I do you one better. Now it's coming from the groom.
Oh.
And I was in London when this happened. And the groom thought, I don't know, he must have been a 30-year-old by science, but a fucking 12-year-old by heart. No offense to that guy.
Yeah.
But he thought it was a good idea to do a PowerPoint presentation. Yeah.
Wait, what?
I never told you this. So he thought it was a good idea to do a PowerPoint presentation.
I don't
for
get
his
what you mean
speech.
by prep.
What I mean by is, so a normal speech was have someone on their phone or a letter reading it out. He said, hi guys, he wanted to be a stand-up comedian, right? Not in life. I think that's what he thought he wanted to be.
Okay.
Fuck do I know?
Yeah.
And he said, he basically going to himself, I'm gonna do a PowerPoint presentation because it's gonna be funny. Bro, I kid you not, there are some serious people in this world that lack some self-awareness. And that shit was not funny. It was boring, it was long, and it was embarrassing because this groom.
What was the what was he
Just random shit about this his partner. Like, this is her pros, these are her cons. He's literally reading out a resume essentially of his bride. You know what Indian parents do this of their kids because they're so proud. Yeah, it's fucked up. It's some weird shit. But basically, he's reading.
The guy thought it was a uni doing a group project or something.
He's like, I'm gonna sell my bride. That sounds a bit weird. He ends up going on this PowerPoint rant.
Pause.
And then and then basically starts saying shit like, one of the things that understand about what living with my partner would look like, presses the button because it's a PowerPoint, is having to hear her gossip. Yeah, now, not only that, he's putting her down. Oh, so and he literally said having to hear her gossip about work people, and work people were in that room.
Oh,
are you fucking dumb?
damn.
Are you stupid? I'm pointing to the camera, assuming that you're looking at, are you dumb? But bro, it was bad.
Jeez.
And literally, you had to see the bride's face. Because the guy was doing what we just spoke about. He was walking around on the stage, which is also annoying for both you and I. For obvious
and
reasons.
I'm assuming this PowerPoint presentation is running like on a big,
correct,
projector. Like a projector.
Yeah, projector.
Oh, shit.
And she's like this. She's smiling, but it's like,
but she's not really smiling.
She's not smiling. She's like, hey,
she's doing what my wife was doing.
She's like literally. I would probably assume she goes like, hey. Usually a bride would go, hey, like when I come back home, I'm gonna get it on or some shit because freaky tonight. I loved you. Let's freaking go. In her mind, it's like, hey, when you get back home, I want to fuck you off so bad because this is so messed up. I can't
backhand the fuck out of you.
Legit, like I'm gonna legit like fucking punch you.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was because, bro, I kid you not, as a photographer, I was cringing so much I couldn't photograph. I've never been paralyzed by how much I've not been able to work because of how
I can't believe
bad.
you never told me this.
I can't believe I never told you this.
Yeah.
I was in London at the time, so you weren't there. But I can't believe how bad it was because I had to go, I can't shoot this because no one's reacting. The groom is laughing his head off because he thinks he's doing a good job.
Well, are the people laughing or were they just like
They
silent?
were like you'd have one that the one uncle who would laugh, be like,
but majority of the people
are like
quiet as fuck. Yeah,
it's like murmuring.
What the fuck is going
and
on?
then when I looked around, around the room, you could see people like looking at each other, going, "Oh, what the fuck is this? Like, this is a bit weird." Like, it's they're trying to be subtle with it, but it ain't subtle with it. And because the bride's picking this up, she's getting more pissed as well. Vet your speeches, but also
vet your speeches to a point where I would say. Of someone who has never done speech before, which is 100%. Rest is up to you. I know some couples don't want to obviously read all the speeches before they listen to it on the night because obviously that kills the whole surprising element. A lot of the fun of the speeches come from that the couple don't know what the other person's going to say, right? But at the same time, that comes down to you as a couple. You got to pick the right people to do the speech for you, right?
I think this is literally self-awareness.
Yeah.
Like
don't pick your 14-year-old sister who's never had a speech before. And obviously you know your sister more than anyone. And you probably know this shit's going to happen before it even happens.
Yeah, like if she is going to say a speech, like just get someone to... maybe not you because you want to have the reaction.
True. You get someone else to vet it.
Just vet that shit. Someone that you trust.
Yeah.
You can't trust a 14-year-old to get her shit together or his shit together. So just get someone you trust to go, hey, like just overlook that person's speech because just in case something weird's in there.
Yeah.
This was a good one because I feel like speeches are a very, very interesting one that every reception would have, but not every reception gets it right. And that's why Manav and I dedicated that segment specifically just for speeches because there were several points that I realized like, why are these all speech related shit? I'm like, oh, this makes sense because most of the speeches we hear are pretty fucked up.
Anyways, if you like this episode, I feel like this has gotten quite long, so we should probably
longer episode.
We should probably cut it off. If you guys like this, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Spotify. We do have all our podcast episodes going on Spotify and Apple. And we'll catch you in the next one.
We'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.